Welcome to the channel. My name is Rockstar Gaming, and here are 19 tips about Crimson Desert that you probably didn't already know. Let's get started. Starting with tip 1. You can actually summon any of your partners at any point in the open world as long as they are available with the story quests, simply by holding up and then selecting them and pressing X. After you've done so, you can press start to have the game pause so they can load them in properly. Now, although a lot of other channels have already said this, and it's pretty common information now, what a lot of people don't mention is that you can actually swap your character that you're playing as mid-go simply by holding up and selecting them. If they're close enough in proximity and not in any kind of combat, or at least not enough to be getting hurt or doing damage, you can swap mid-fight and actually do some pretty cool stuff with it. Tip 2. Once you've unlocked some of the elemental moves, you still need to equip them individually, and you do that by holding right on the D-pad and then selecting them where the health items are. Tip 3. This is actually a double feature. While you are in flight mode with your wings out, if you're stationary while in midair, you actually do not use up stamina. This is super helpful because you can also use blinding light midair, mid-flight, to take a survey of the area and see what kind of artifacts are around and available for you still. Dodging with the perfect dodge skill from the skill tree actually regenerates your stamina. This is super good for maintaining your uptime in the middle of a big boss fight or mob fight. Another helpful tip is that the level 3 focus mode skill that gives you a counter is not super necessary because you already get a counter prompt when you are in fight. Don't forget to level up your armed combat skill node because every single level gives you a proficiency point, which actually increases your damage, and all those skills spread between every weapon except for unarmed combat for that character. A really slick tip is that even though focus mode slows you down and so does the weapon select screen, you can combo the two of these together to double the slow speed, which gives you ample time to switch between weapons and armor mid-fight. A really nice quality of life tip is that if you hold the start button, you can actually select between the tabs before you even open it, which skips the loading time and is really helpful for ease of motion. Little saucy tip is that double tapping left on the D-pad gives you a fancy sheathing animation. Pretty cool. Although the game doesn't tell you, if you press L1 and R2 while facing an unguarded enemy, you'll flip them with a shield. The momentum from your force palm helps your aerial stab go really far if you aim just a bit up while you're getting ready to shoot. It also helps him go against walls. Another combat skill the game doesn't tell you is that if you press triangle or your unarmed combat button and then hold jump mid animation, you'll actually do a vaulting head slam. Really cool. The shield sprint on the level 3 armed combat tree gives you really good crowd control, so I suggest you try it out. Holding R1 or triangle after a roll will do a sweep, which is really good for most enemies and even can affect boss fights when they're vulnerable and open to the damage window. Light attacks actually don't use up stamina, and furthermore, they trigger your finisher moves and critical hits. So during the critical hit, your stamina will recharge, and it's really good for handling big mobs and sometimes bosses. Despite everyone's concerns about stamina on big walls, most walls actually have small ledges that you can stand on to regain stamina, just like rock climbing. For whatever reason, double jump works extremely well when you're hanging on a ledge. Just food for thought. A nice little quality of life tip, but if you click L3 while looking over a ledge, you'll climb down. This is really good for characters that don't necessarily have the flight skills yet. Furthermore, while you are climbing up and down, if you release and then press forward and square, you will grab a wall with your knife and do a cool little dagger grab animation. Pretty cool. Some bonus tips that I don't have video footage for are that if you tap R1 while you're behind a prisoner where the untie prompt comes up, you can automatically untie them, which is really nice and keeps things moving quickly. And also, if you didn't already know, walking over items that can be picked up, if you just hold square, you'll actually automatically pick up everything anyway. And the last little kind of tip caveat is that even though observing skills in combat will give you that skill for free, if that skill is attached to proficiency on a specific node, you will actually still need to level up that node to get any skills past that point, because it only gives you the skill, not the proficiency point, if that makes sense. You can try it out for yourself and see what I mean. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you taking the time, and I hope these tips helped. Have a good one. Bye-bye.